The new McCrispy Strip is here. Dip approved by ketchup, tangy barbecue, honey mustard, Sprite, McFlurry, Big Mac sauce, double dipped in buffalo and ranch, more ranch, and creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 188 of the True Crime All the Time Unsolved podcast. I'm Mike Ferguson, and with me, as always, is my partner in true crime, Mike Gibson. Gibby, what is going on with you?
Hey, man, I'm doing better, man.
And I think everybody will be happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I know I'm happy when you tell me that. I mean, you've still got a ways to go.
I do.
You got to knock this pneumonia completely, but you're battling, and you're getting there.
Yeah. How are you doing, though?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
I'm doing well. My daughter's home for Thanksgiving. We'll be here at least through Thanksgiving. So, you know, that's good. I'm not been getting to see her as much as I would like. She's doesn't come home as much from college as she did last year.
Right.
Because she has her own apartment.
Sure.
So
she's growing up on you.
And she likes that better than the dorm. So she stays a little bit more.
At least you got a little time with her. I know you really enjoy that.
I do. I look forward to that. I like my family time.
You do.
We have some new supporter shout outs to give. So let's do that. We had Hannah Lillian.
Hey, Hannah.
Maddie Queen.
What's going on, Queen?
Mary Feltz.
Hey, Mary.
Cole Petties.
What's going on, Petties?
Brandy Kane.
Hey, Candy Cane, Brandy Cane.
Mark Baum.
Hey, Mark.
Paulina Hajdo.
Hey, Hajdo.
Cherie Scott.
What's going on, Cherie?
Alexis Mixon.
Hey, Alexis.
Stephanie Savannah Pretty.
Savannah Pretty.
Marlena Ashley.
Hey, Marlena.
Nicole Hartman.
Thank you, Nicole.
Nanette Phillips.
Awesome, Nanette.
Stephanie.
Hey, good old Stephanie.
Ryan.
Hey, Brian.
Jennifer Scaff.
What's going on, Jennifer?
Debbie Sullivan.
Hey, thank you, Debbie.
Lori Dorn.
Hey, what's going on, Lori?
Whitney Young.
Whitney.
Teresa Parrish.
Hey, good old Parrish family. Parrish.
Amy Caldwell.
Hey, Amy.
Raja Lanas.
Raja.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
And last but not least, Isabel Funderburg.
Funderburg in the house.
And then if we go back into the vault, Gibbs, this week we selected our good friend Jenny Murray.
Yeah, I love that.
Jenny's been with us a long time. So we appreciate, when it comes to the Patreon support, the new support, the continued support, it's amazing.
It's awesome.
We had some great PayPal donations from Laura Western.
Hey, Laura.
Julie Shantz.
Thank you, Julie.
Paul Walsh.
What's going on, Paul?
And Leah Miller.
Hey, Leah.
So thanks to all of you as well. Gibbs, right now we have a brand new True Crime All the Time episode out. It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's on Richard Crafts and the murder of his wife, Hella. A lot of people refer to this as the wood chipper murder. It's also one of the inspirations for the movie Fargo. But there's a lot of interesting things about this case.
Definitely a really good episode.
Yeah, I think people should check it out.
Yeah.
They will like it. So as we get into this True Crime All the Time Unsolved, we want to give a big shout out to Lindsay Sklaric for her help with research and writing in this episode. We're talking about the 2020 disappearance of Suzanne Morphew. And I think we have to start out on Sunday, May 10th, 2020. That was a special day for so many people. It was Mother's Day, a day that mothers are celebrated. They're able to spend time with their children and families. But on this day, a beautiful 49-year-old mother named Suzanne Morphew went missing in Maysville, Colorado.
Which is about 2 hours west of Colorado Springs.
Okay. To give a little bit of help with geography, Gibby saves the day. Now, according to her family, Suzanne left for a bike ride that morning, and she never returned to her Maysville home. Suzanne's daughters, Mallory and Macy, were out of town in Idaho camping. They called their mother several times that day to wish her a happy Mother's Day, but she never answered the phone, nor did her husband Barry. So Mallory and Macy called a neighbor, 70-year-old Jean Ritter, and they said to her, you know what? We have not been able to get a hold of Mom. Can you go and check on her? But Jean didn't get a response either when she went next door. So she called 911 and reported Suzanne missing. She told them about the bike ride and that Suzanne never returned. Jean did not actually ever see her on a bike, but that was what she had been told by the girls. Now, the police started investigating and searching for Suzanne very quickly. Based on this phone call, Suzanne's husband, Barry, was not home at the time. He later stated that he had a landscaping job that day that was about 3 hours away in the Denver area. Barry came back home when the police notified him of the disappearance. He was not allowed back into the house, and police also seized his cell phone and car. The day that Suzanne disappeared, the police found her bike. It was recovered from a bridge not far from her home. Police have not publicly confirmed this, but multiple family members have said this to a number of different sources. So it's been reported.
Just not from the police.
Just not confirmed.
Right.
By police. On Tuesday, May 12th, after her disappearance, a Colorado news station reported that authorities were searching the Morphew home, but later a public information officer representing the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office said they were not actively searching the home, but they did have the house temporarily seized through a search warrant as part of the investigation. So, I think there's a little wordplay there.
Right.
There's a little, what do you call it? Okay, we're not actively searching it, but hey, nobody else can go in and we have a search warrant for it.
We have it secured and yeah.
Chaffee County Sheriff John Spezzi said it's common for houses to be temporarily seized in missing person cases, and that the Morphew family was not allowed into the residence at the time. He stated that they are starting at the home and extending outward to find clues, and that the residence was just one of many areas of focus in the investigation. So I don't know, Gibbs, what you make of this. This is, 2 full days
right
after Suzanne has disappeared, after police have been notified that she's disappeared. You've got the search warrant, you've seized the home, but you're not and have not actively searched it. I guess I'm a little confused as to the reason why you would not do that. Now, we know they did search the house because by the next day, which was Wednesday, May 13th, there were photos published in the newspapers of police investigators carrying what looked like evidence bags near the Morphew's home. By this time, on Wednesday, investigators had received over 200 tips, and they had searched the waterways around the Maysville area. Reports stated that search crews from the FBI and the Colorado Bureau of Investigation and more than 100 other investigators, 8 tracking dogs, and 4 drones, as well as members of the Colorado Parks and Wildlife Division, South Ark Swiftwater Rescue, and Reach Air Ambulance, had been unable to find her. So that is a lot of resources.
It is. And, as we do these newer cases, as they come up, these drone searches are so popular now. They can search a vast area fairly inexpensively and thoroughly.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen like a top-of-the-line drone. I'm not talking about a drone that like your 10-year-old neighbor has, and even those are very sophisticated. But some of these drones, they can travel very quickly.
Yeah.
Their cameras are amazing as far as zoom, like 4K clarity. They are really something. And, if you think about it, go back to some of the cases that we've done. years and years ago, what you had was literally volunteers coming out, holding hands, walking a field.
Yeah.
To ensure that they didn't miss anything. Okay, that's a lot of resources to cover that one area. It's going to take a lot of time, after you get that area done. Well, maybe a drone can do that area in no time and move on to another area. So definitely technology has changed. But I think the other thing that has changed, and you see it in this case, is the speed at which investigators jumped into action.
Very rapid.
I mean, if you just look at the True Crime All the Time episode that we did this week, it was about a woman who went missing back in the 1980s. When people called to report her missing, they said, give it some time.
She'll show up eventually.
Yeah, she'll show up eventually. A lot has changed since then. And now it does seem like the authorities are much more likely to start their investigation quickly, right away.
Time of the essence.
Time is of the essence.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Really in almost everything you do, but especially when it comes to missing persons cases. On Thursday, May 14th, police released that they found a personal item of Suzanne's, but they didn't give out any more information than that. They wouldn't get descriptive on what the personal item actually was.
Well, it is an active case, and sometimes they're going to do that.
Yeah, hold back things. We know that. The item was found by searchers in an area west of County Road 225 and US Highway 50 outside of Maysville. Now, at this point, the family already knew that Suzanne's bike had been found. So they believed this was a different item. They didn't think it was the bike, but they weren't told what it was. On Sunday, May 17th, Barry Morphew released a video on Facebook pleading for his wife's safe return and offering a $200,000 reward.
Oh, Suzanne, if anyone is out there that can hear this, that has you, please, we'll do whatever it takes to bring you back. We love you, we miss you, your girls need you. No questions asked. However much they want, I will do whatever it takes to get you back. Honey, I love you, and I want you back so bad.
So Gibbs, you and I have covered a lot of missing persons cases. We've covered a lot of cases where rewards have been offered.
Right.
$200,000 is a very high reward.
Mammoth.
Compared to some of the ones we see.
Right.
Now, obviously, the amount of money that you're able to offer depends on your resources and all of that stuff. But what I will say is it's a very healthy reward.
Well, if you're trying to generate a lead, that's the best way to do it,
The
right?
higher, the better.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would argue with that.
I'm not sure someone's going to come out of the woodwork for $5,000, but if they could get $200,000,
A lot of people would be willing to maybe flip on an acquaintance, even a friend, for a couple $100,000. That same Sunday, the day that Barry Morphew released his video, the sheriff came out and said that they were still treating Suzanne's disappearance as a missing person investigation. Even after the intense searches, they were not ruling anything out, including animal attack and suicide. Although they really did not suspect either of those, the sheriff asked everyone in the surrounding communities to save video surveillance, including Ring doorbells or any other outdoor cameras, in case she appeared on any of them. Since that time, there have been 10 large-scale searches and over 1,000 tips, but police still have no idea where Suzanne is, and no body has been found, and really no further evidence has been uncovered or at least released.
Right.
Now, what I do think is interesting is that Barry's video has been dissected, which you can imagine it would be.
Sure.
Everything that goes on social media is dissected. Everybody has their opinion. There are some people that have wondered why he was so quick to assume that Suzanne had been kidnapped.
Right.
Versus, maybe she had hurt herself. Nobody's found her yet. So you do see a lot of that online.
Yeah.
He has been I'll say, questioned, not by police, but questioned by people who are a little unsure about why he says some of the things in the video that he says.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's tough. And you and I have talked about this before. I think individuals in that situation are going to act differently. There is no one perfect way to do that. You know, you're grieving.
Yeah. Are you sad enough? Are you
right? Are you showing as much emotion as you should?
right?
Everybody's going to have their own opinion.
Are you overdoing the emotion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, some people have even wondered whether he put up such a big reward because he knew it would never be collected.
Yeah.
So, you know, I almost hate to talk about that, but it's out there.
Sure it is.
It's tough when people dissect things the way they do. That's our culture today.
Yeah.
But, you know, we have to talk about it because it's a part of this case.
Yeah, because people are talking about it online.
Suzanne's brother, Andrew Mormon, has been extremely active in his sister's case. He set up major searches just this past September that lasted 6 days. These searches included cadaver dogs. The dogs picked up a scent on land owned by Suzanne's husband, Barry. The plot of land was in Poncha Springs, which is about 20 minutes away from their home. In a press release, Sheriff Spezzi said that there were 3 locations with hits from the dogs, but they found no leads or evidentiary significance to the case. The other 2 locations were adjacent to the Arkansas River in Chaffee County, where the Morphews lived, and on private property in Chaffee County near Salida. Now, initially, pretty early on in the investigation, the sheriff made comments that Barry Morphew was cooperative, and obviously he hoped he would continue to be so. But then Barry went silent for months. Then in August, he gave an interview and said he believed his wife was attacked by a mountain lion and crashed her bike. He also said that this case was mishandled from the beginning and that authorities were trying to pin it on him to cover up their mishandling of the case. He claimed one of his friends was at the site of the recovered bike and saw police destroy evidence. Suzanne's brother Andrew said he visited the site where the bike was found right after its discovery, and he's positive that the accusations Barry Morphew has made are simply untrue. Andrew told Fox News an animal did not attack her because there absolutely was no blood evidence, no tracks on the ground, no scent from an animal. I stood there and looked, and I realized that nobody rode over the side of that hill. There would have been signs of a struggle, or you would have been skinned up. Barry Morphew was actually with Andrew Mormon when he was searching the area, and he told Fox News, I said to Barry, hey, I don't think she fell off the hill on that bicycle or rode over the edge. I believe a human being threw this down here.
So we're already seeing conflicting theories between family members.
Yeah, conflicting theories, conflicting information. We're also starting to see what I would call a divide.
Yeah.
Between Barry
Right.
and some of Suzanne's family members. And I think we'll see that divide widen as we go through the episode. I think for one thing, Andrew and other family members, they were surprised to find out that Barry refused to take a polygraph test and really had not spoken to police since early on in the investigation.
Well, I'd be surprised too.
Would you? I don't know.
But I always said.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm going to maybe bring some of your own words back against you.
I mean, on advice of an attorney, I'm sure an attorney would say, don't take
a polygraph test.
You know, there's no reason to take it.
Because even if you're innocent, if for some reason you're super nervous, if the test malfunctions, whatever
right,
it happens to be, if they think you're being deceptive in any way, then that spotlight, you've just shifted it
Right.
directly on top of your head.
Well, even Barry said earlier that he thought they were trying to pin this on him.
Yes.
So probably on advice of the attorney also, quit talking to him.
Yeah.
Don't give them anything that they can use against you, even if you did nothing wrong.
Right. But your first reaction was, well, I would take that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people would have that same reaction. Hey, this is my family member. I
Right.
do not want anyone
To
to think that for any length of time I had anything to do with her disappearance. So I'm going to take this polygraph test and it's going to show everyone that
Yeah.
what I'm saying is the truth. And then that kind of intense heat or spotlight will get off of me. That could be true. But as I said, there could also be other ramifications that could occur
Right. even
to someone that is not guilty. We've seen it. It's happened. I think everybody knows that it's happened.
And if that gets out, perception. It's always perception.
Yeah.
Right?
And perception is reality. You've
Yeah.
heard that phrase before. Since shortly after his sister's disappearance, Andrew Mormon really has not spoken to Barry, but he did put a message out for Barry through the press. It said, please, Barry, if you could see this, I would really love it if you would take the time to revisit the authorities and go over everything once again. Take a voice analysis and a lie detector test and clear yourself. Put my mind at ease and everybody out there's mind at ease if you want to shut the rumors down. That's the way to do it. You need to find your wife. That should be your only goal, is to find your wife, and whatever you are asked to do by the authorities is what you should do. If you're not guilty, step up to the plate.
It's a pretty big and bold statement
It
to
is.
put out there.
It is. And I think, when you read that, he's calling this guy out.
Sure.
That's the way that I view this statement. Hey, step up to the plate, man.
Yeah.
Help us find your wife. Help us find my sister. Do the right thing. You're hearing all of those types of comments. Again, we said it. At a certain point, there was a divide.
Right.
And right now, we're really talking about Andrew versus Barry. But we've mentioned there's other family members of Suzanne's. We just haven't mentioned them by name.
You're always going to have the spokesperson.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think Andrew is definitely the spokesperson. But this is not a shy, kind of tiptoey statement.
Right.
This is bold. This is in your face. This is, hey, we're not sure that you've been on the up and up. Do this, this, and this,
Right.
and clear everyone's mind.
Yeah, because Andrew's saying, look, we're trying to find my sister, your wife. We need you to help too.
Now, I think, Gibbs, it's also come to light in recent months that, Barry's alibi may not be as airtight as it was once thought to be. We talked about it right up front. Barry said he was in Broomfield, Colorado, near Denver, to work on building retaining walls next to the Northwest Parkway. What do we say? 3 hours away?
Yeah.
A Fox 21 news reporter, Lauren Scharf, independently investigated this and discovered that Barry was contracted for the job by a company based in Indiana, where he and Suzanne had previously lived. The president of the company that hired him was one of Barry's friends, a guy by the name of Tony Miller. Lauren Scharf said in her report that a general contracting company, Garrett Construction LLC, outsourced the job to EA Outdoor Services LLC. That company hired Barry, who worked as an independent contractor. In all of the documents that Lauren Scharf was able to dig up, none of them mentioned Barry being hired. A worker from EA Outdoor Services who wanted to remain anonymous told a reporter that no one on the crew knew about Barry even being on this job until after Suzanne disappeared. The retaining wall Barry was supposedly hired to work on was originally completed in October of 2019, but the work was shoddy. It needed to be redone. But Gibbs, I think the questions come in about the date. right? May 10th, Mother's Day. That's when Barry says that he did work in the Denver area on this wall. But the reporter, Lauren Scharf, uncovered some information that seems to cast doubt on whether that's accurate or not. For one thing, Scharf said, in that city of Broomfield where the work was being done, to work on a Saturday or Sunday, you need a special permit, which city ordinances require if there is to be construction work done on the weekends. I think the other thing that comes in is the urgency of needing the work done on Sunday. There were a number of people that, this reporter talked to that said there was no need for him to be out there on Sunday. They were scheduled to be there Monday,
right?
The 11th. Now, it does seem as though he was there because some of the individuals who showed up Monday said that there had been some work done.
Yeah, like you maybe spent maybe 30, 40 minutes doing something.
Yeah, they said it was they said it was a very small amount of work, something that probably would have taken maybe 30 minutes, like you said. So again, I mean, this is just more information that I think casts some doubt on Barry Morphew's alibi, which is huge in this case.
Well, sure it is. Yeah. I get what they're saying. Why would you drive 3 hours and only do, less than an hour's work? I mean, if you're going to go to a job site on a Sunday, leave your wife behind on Mother's Day to do maybe an hour's or less of work. Why? Why would you do that?
Well, I think in some people's minds, it's so that you could establish an alibi.
Yeah.
I mean, again, going back to people dissecting this case online, you will see that. Okay. That's the reason why you would do it, is because you need an alibi and here's how you're going to get it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's what people online have said.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or have insinuated. But you have to agree that it seems hinky at the very least.
It does.
Andrew Mormon was on an episode of Dr. Phil recently. And again, the guy is not shy and was not shy on the show about what he thought happened. He told Dr. Phil that he was convinced Barry murdered his sister Suzanne and buried her. He said Barry had not participated in any recent searches. When they searched Barry's land, they encountered Barry holding a shotgun. He told Andrew and the other searchers not to go any further because they would be entering private property. Andrew told Dr. Phil that he believes that Barry murdered his sister the night before Mother's Day when she was reported missing. He said that she was seen in town on that Saturday getting a sandwich with Barry around 4 p.m. But no one saw her after that, and no one ever saw her on a bike on Sunday. On the show, Andrew laid out the timeline of events as he believes they occurred. He states that on May 9th, between 2 p.m. and 9 p.m., Suzanne was talking to her best friend intermittently on social media about an upcoming wedding. All of a sudden, the communication from Suzanne suddenly stopped. And then sometime later, the best friend noticed Suzanne's posting and communicating again, but it all seemed out of character. Like, what she was posting, what she was saying to her family and friends. It was as if someone else was writing as her or typing as her.
And it was also said it was strange that all of a sudden she was adding new followers that were men around Barry and her brother's age, which I guess was not typical for her. So I don't know why somebody would do that.
Andrew continued by saying on May 10th, Barry reported that he left the house around 5 a.m. for his work assignment. He said he did not wake Suzanne. He texted her a Mother's Day greeting that went unanswered. Then hours later, the daughters called the neighbor, Jean, and asked her to check on Suzanne. Jean walked through the house, couldn't find Suzanne, but she saw Suzanne's vehicle there. Barry reached out to Jean as well and requested her to go back to the house and check for Suzanne's bike to see if it was missing. Jean found that the bike was not there, and then she called police for a welfare check. Barry returned home late that night and ultimately gave two narratives to the media. One, that he was in Denver for a firefighter convention, and two, he was prepping for a job that he was starting the next day. Andrew went on to tell Dr. Phil that on May 14th, a personal item was found that he believed to be a bike helmet and one other unknown item. Andrew said in one of his searches in late September, they may have found some evidence. He said they found things on top of the mountain, remarkably close to the Morphew residence. He didn't really talk much more about it. He was unable to give many details. The authorities are processing everything and nothing else has been released about it. So that is where Andrew's timeline stops as he's relaying this information to Dr. Phil. In September, bones were found in Highland Ranch, which is just outside of Denver, and a lot of speculation popped up very quickly after this news broke that these remains were Suzanne. And you could see how people might speculate on that, right? They're found in the Denver area. Suzanne's husband said he was there.
Sure.
On the 10th, when she was reported missing. The Chaffee County Sheriff's Office released a statement that no human remains were found. They addressed all the rumors of these bones that were supposedly found, but they said, you know what? That just was not the case. It didn't happen. But on October 5th, human remains were found by hikers near an abandoned mine in a remote location west of Pueblo, Colorado. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation was asked to step in to investigate. Based on the condition and decomposition of the remains, authorities said it appeared the body had been there for what they said was quite some time. There's no evidence to connect these remains to Suzanne. But of course, you know, Gibbs, at first, that's what the public was thinking. Okay, they found remains. This has to be Suzanne.
Yeah, I think that's normal to jump to that conclusion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think
recent
it's
missing person. Here's some bones, body, whatever. You're going to jump to that.
I think because this case is so new, one of the problems that we run into in cases like this is, you know, this just happened last month. So we don't have any additional information about who these remains actually belong to.
Right.
Now, something strange but unrelated happened on this very same day, October 5th. Barry listed the family home for sale. The list price is $1.75 million.
Nice house.
Yeah. Yeah. It must be a very nice house. Now, what he has said or given as the reason for listing the house is that it's just too difficult for the girls to live in that house. And I get that. I think you and I have discussed that before. You've made a lot of memories there.
Sure.
But those memories include your mother.
Yeah.
And so to walk around that house every day, how can you not be reminded of your mom and the fact that she's missing? We don't know what happened to her. I think that would be tough in any situation.
I'd be ready to get out of there too.
Yes. So I don't blame anyone for putting a house up for sale in that situation, or I don't look at it as it casting doubt or casting, any negative light, because I think a lot of people would do that.
Yeah. I'm assuming Barry wants to get out of there too.
Mm-hmm. I imagine so. I mean, he said mostly, it was about the girls, but if he didn't have anything to do with this, and this is a question we'll talk about as we wrap up the case, he's going to want to get out of there too.
Sure.
And maybe even if he did, he's still going to want to get out of there.
It's a good time to move on.
Yeah.
Is what he's,
Since Suzanne's disappearance, the task force has conducted over 180 formal interviews. Some of these interviews resulted from the volunteer searches, right? So they would search, they would find something, maybe related, maybe not related.
right.
And maybe they would interview the homeowner, landowner, or whatever. I think that's pretty natural. The task force has also spent over 4,000 hours on the case. But we've already mentioned it, Gibbs. Suzanne's body has not been found. And, as of today, when we're recording this episode, we don't know of any further evidence that's been found in her case. We know that Andrew Mormon and some of Suzanne's family pretty firmly believe that Barry is behind Suzanne's disappearance. They believe he had something to do with it. And in fact, Andrew believes, and has not been shy in saying it, that Barry murdered Suzanne on Saturday night, and then he left her bike out Sunday morning when he left for this job in Denver, we'll call it, to be found by someone. In an interview with Fox 31 in Denver, Andrew Mormon said that he learned that Suzanne was attending domestic abuse meetings, which leads him to speculate that there were issues at home before Suzanne went missing. Mormon said of Barry, he's not cooperating enough with police. He should have done a voice analysis with the detective right off the bat, and some of his behavior since then has been quite strange. On August 18th, Barry Morphew gave an interview to Lauren Sharp at Fox 21. The interview lasted 25 minutes. He didn't want to do an in-person interview, and he also said that he didn't want a recording of the call to be aired. But in the interview, Barry said that he believes either a mountain lion attacked Suzanne or that she was involved in an accident. Either she crashed her bike or there was a hit and run. He suggested that there were recent sightings of mountain lions in the area. He also said it was possible that Suzanne may have been taken by someone close to her who knew her routines and knew that she went for bike rides. So Gibbs, as we wrap up this story, right, there is a lot going on and there's a lot still to come. We don't normally do stories that are this new, this fresh,
this active, because there will be a lot of information to probably come out. Now, will her disappearance be solved? Hopefully. Yeah.
Is her husband involved? I don't know. If you listen to her family, as we've pointed out, they strongly believe that he is in some way. He offered up some theories. Mountain lion. Okay. Possible? Yeah, it's possible.
Sure.
But when you look up the statistics, in the past 100 plus years, there have been maybe 20 some reported mountain lion deaths in all of North America. So anything is possible.
But the odds are slim.
Yes. Is it likely? Probably not. I think the other thing about mountain lion attacks, when you look at some of the information from experts, it's that, when a mountain lion attacks, they don't normally drag their prey all that far.
Right.
Meaning if she was attacked on a bike or right off the side of the road, they most likely would have found her body.
Sure.
So that's something to think about. Then you have to tackle the car accident angle. And again, that is very possible. Car accidents every day. There are hit and runs, right? Yeah. Somebody strikes a person on a bicycle. They get scared. They believe they've injured them, killed them, and they run away. Or they take off in their car.
Yeah.
That's very possible. I think the question then becomes, what happened to her body?
Yeah, if the bike's there, where's the body?
Yes, the body would not be all that far from where the bike is if it was a hit and run accident.
And if you're going to take the body, why wouldn't you want to take the bike and get rid of all evidence?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of hit and run people are stopping to load up a body.
No.
But
I think
again,
they're like, shit, what did I do?
I got to get out of here.
Yeah, I got to get a car wash my car down and just make this disappear.
The other thing that plays into that is, to my knowledge, police have not said that the bike was damaged, maybe, in a way that you would expect it to be if somebody was hit by a car. But to me, it's the body. Even if she was hurt and kind of wandered off, dazed and hurt after being hit, how far could she have gone? They searched. To me, it seems as though it's more likely that there's some type of foul play involved.
Right.
And that foul play also involved hiding her body.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because, I think with this many months having gone by, the consensus is most likely that she's not alive. I hate to say that. I do.
Right. But
if you had to be honest about what you think is more likely, you would have to pick that option.
I agree.
So as it stands right now, like we said, Suzanne's has not been found. Her body's not been recovered. A lot of people, I think, are down on Barry as far as it comes to like amateur web detectives and people that weigh in online.
Yeah.
You'll see a lot of that if you go on forums or Facebook or,
as you said, it's
anything.
an active case. So
it is,
it just happened this year. So you're going to have that out there. You're going to have a lot of speculation, opinions, things like that.
But as it stands right now, as far as I know, he's not even an official suspect in the eyes of police, or at least that he hasn't been named as such.
Right.
But I don't think that's out of the ordinary, right? Police don't go around saying, hey, this person is a suspect unless they've got some evidence.
Yeah, they're going to have something concrete.
I don't think they have any evidence. But anyone with information regarding the disappearance of Suzanne Morphew is encouraged to call the Colorado Bureau of Investigations tip line at 719-312-7530. And I think, Gibbs, this is just a case that we'll have to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people will. It's really kind of heavy right now in the news cycle. So if something happens, I think we'll all hear about it very quickly.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's it for the case of the disappearance of Suzanne Morphew for now.
For now.
I will say. We got some voicemails. You want to check those out?
Let's hear 'em.
Hey, Bertie. Hey, Gibby. This is Brandlin. I live out in Sumter, South Carolina. But I've been wanting to call in for a while. I've been listening to you guys for a really long time. I actually grew up mostly in Prattville, Alabama, and there was a case that was really close to home for us. We were friends with Shannon Polk. In 2001, she was 11 years old. She went missing, and I want to say about 5 or 6 months later, she was found in a field by some hunters. To this day, the case is unsolved, and to me, my sister, a lot of people in that community, we just are kind of haunted by it. I would love it if you guys could try to look up what you can on it and see what we can get out there. Thank you guys, and keep your own time ticking.
Well, thank you. I don't know that we have that case on the list, Gibbs, because I'm not sure if I'm familiar with it, but we'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, we definitely will.
Mike, Gibby, you guys crack me up. I'm not even through your TCAT Unsolved episode, and I had to call because you wanted someone to call in and explain Nimrod to you. Well, Nimrod was a biblical mighty hunter, and the reason that we now think of it as a silly or stupid name is because of Bugs Bunny. This is actually Bugs Bunny trivia. Bugs Bunny would call Elmer Fudd Nimrod sarcastically, much like you would call someone an Einstein if they're doing something really stupid. So that's where that came from. So it was totally legit up until the time of Bugs Bunny to name someone Nimrod because you were just calling them a mighty hunter. So it was a pretty cool name up until about that time. So there you go. That's your Bugs Bunny trivia. Now you know. And yeah, I did Google it for you, but I knew that one already, but I Googled it to make sure. So there you have it. Stay safe, and I hope that Gibby continues to do better. Take care.
Well, we appreciate that. We actually got a lot of calls about Nimrod.
Yeah, we did.
So I couldn't play them all. I'll have to admit, Gibbs, that after you left the studio, I looked it up too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Just to see what was going on with Nimrod. And, it's interesting that there's a historical / biblical aspect to the name. I don't know if when I looked it up, I actually got to the part about Bugs Bunny. So that's interesting.
It is interesting. Good old Bugs Bunny.
But that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because who didn't watch Bugs Bunny back in the day?
You Nimrod.
Hi, Mike and Gibby. My name is Mackenzie, and I'm a college student at Indiana University, so go Hoosiers. But I just wanted to call and thank you guys for literally every single thing you do. I've listened to all of your episodes on TCAT and TCAT Unsolved. Sometimes I even replay old episodes just to make sure that I didn't miss anything the first time. But my brother and I are both huge true crime fans, and your podcast has definitely brought us closer together, and it is something that we bond over. So thank you for that. He listens to all of your new episodes on his Monday morning work commute. So I really hope that you play this and that it surprises him and brings a smile to his face at his 6 a.m. Morning commute. But anyway, you guys are amazing, and I really don't think you understand just how much of an impact you have on your fans. So thank you for that, and stay safe and keep your own time ticking.
IU.
They
got a good football team this year.
They do. And we're taping this before the IU Ohio State game.
Yeah.
It'll come out after.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I like Indiana University, but
not that much.
I'm not enough to go against my Buckeyes.
No.
I hope we prevail. The one thing I will say about that call, Gibbs, is she was so composed.
Yes.
And we are getting more and more college students. I don't know if you've noticed that listening to the podcast. And, a call like that is restoring my faith in the younger generation.
The youth.
The Utes. The two Utes.
The Utes.
Because you could tell she's very intelligent, very composed. That makes me feel better. Now, I get on my Xbox and I talk to some of my younger friends with my daughter's boyfriend, and then I get worried about is one of these kids going to be the president someday? It scares the what out of me.
Might be.
But then you get a call like that, and I'm like, okay, I feel better. We're going to be okay.
Well, hopefully her brother hears this, and he's like, man, I got the best sister ever.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, hey, Mike. Hey, Gibby. This is Nimrod calling from Toronto, Canada. I'm just driving to work in my Ford Fiesta. And obviously, I just listened to the latest episode of True Crime All the Time Unsolved. I heard you were making fun of my name now, in addition to my vehicle. So I just wanted to let you know that I'm also short, so you might want to tackle that next. And still love you guys, so stay safe and keep your own time ticking.
Guess he's a carny, too.
So, I was going to say, the only thing he didn't mention was what? Carnies and... Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that other vehicle.
Nimrod driving a Ford Fiesta.
Yeah.
Now, I got a kick out of that one, and I knew you would too. There was a lot of Nimrod calls, though.
That's awesome.
All right, buddy. That's it for another episode of True Crime All the Time Unsolved. So for Mike
and Gibby,
stay safe and keep your own time ticking.